woven into her story and tells us what has brought her to Toastmasters today. Please welcome up Cadie Federmeyer.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. In the cove, we were protected and unseen by the rest of the lake. But as we rounded the corner into open waters, on the little wooden motorboat, I saw before me a myriad of tornadoes on the lake. My story is one that resembles a circle, or perhaps it is a spiral like that of a tornado. It begins with medicine, transforms into nature, and concludes with a synthesis of the two. Today, I am an acupuncturist and a shamanic practitioner, and this is the story of how I got there. So, as a teen, I was fascinated by infectious diseases. You could say I nerded out about it. So Ebola, dengue fever, or if you've ever seen the movie Outbreak with Dustin Hoffman, I wanted to wear one of those airtight suits and be dropped into one of those villages in the middle of Africa. And so basically I had a fascination with medicine, and I was truly, I was in awe that modern science couldn't figure out these diseases. So I went to college and I became a microbiology major. I was on the pre-med track, and this lasted for a couple years. And what happened in college was I became introduced to environmental issues and the environmental destruction that is occurring on the planet at this time. I developed a really deep relationship with nature. I began going backpacking and just spending time in the woods, by the waters, and something shifted for me inside, and that fascination for medicine waned a little bit in lieu of my heartfelt desire to help the earth. And so I changed my major to environmental science. I became a vegetarian, and I stopped shopping at Walmart, which I was not afraid to tell everybody about. And so I followed this path. I worked on eco farms in Ecuador, and I studied and helped in reforestation projects in Australia. And eventually I entered a Peace Corps master's program studying international forestry. But when my Peace Corps assignment came, I had a moment of crisis. I wept for a long time, and really the message that was so clear from my heart was that this was not the right path for me. Okay. And so I checked in with myself, and I really realized that I had to go soul searching again. I had to dive deep, and really what I was being called to do was to travel again, and I was being called to travel to Central America. And that is how I ended up in this boat on this lake facing these tornadoes. And it so happened that that particular life-turning situation, I was on my way to apprentice with my first spiritual teacher. And from there, from my time on that sacred lake in Guatemala, I met many other healers. I was introduced to shamanism and went deeper into energy medicine, and really was able to tap into something very sacred there. One day in particular, I was at lunch with this elder who was a Mayan gatekeeper, and she just looks over to me and she goes, Cadie, we really need an acupuncturist down here. I totally rejected it. in that moment. I didn't really know what acupuncture was, but I remember everything about that moment, how it felt, where we were, and so it was a planting of a seed that day. And before I had even returned to the States in a little internet cafe, I was researching what acupuncture was, what traditional Chinese medicine was, and I found that this medicine was actually a synthesis of my love for medicine and my love for nature. And everything I read resonated so deeply with me, and I learned that really people need to heal, and that the earth could take care of herself. So through this story, I really learned that I follow my heart, and I face my fears, and that is what has brought me to public speaking